And that's when I realized I had accidentally taught the office bird to swear. It was chaos.
Oh Bob, your encounters with pay are always something else. But I must admit, the bird's impersonation were quite entertaining.
Well, at least it wasn't as wild as the reptile fiasco. Remember when the snake got loose and ended up in their vents? It took us hours to find it.
Yes, and let's not forget the lizard that decided to join us during the panel discussion. Poor Charlie nearly jumped out of his seat.
Yeah, that was a close call. I never thought I'd have a reptile as a co-host. But hey, it made for good TV, didn't it?
Quiet on set, everyone. We're about to start recording.
Oh, thank you, Debby, for your timely reminder.
You're welcome, Alice.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Earth. We have a new addition to our crew today, a hamster named Whiskers. Let's hope it brings some much-needed calmness to our office.
Maybe Whiskers can teach us a thing or two about discipline. I hear they're quite the escape artist.
Just what we need, more chaos.
Indeed, Karl. This ship is already filled with enough unpredictability.
Alright, everyone, let's get this show started. Stay tuned for our headlines. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 24/7 Newsroom, your source for intergalactic news with a humorous twist. I am Charlie, your optimistic host, and I'm joined by Bob, the conservative panel member, and Alice, our left-leaning commentator. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Charlie. Ready to tackle the latest news with our usual wit and banter?
Absolutely, Bob. Let's dive into today's headlines and dissect them like the intellectual we are.
Well said, Alice. And speaking of headlines, let's start with Article 1, brought to us by the Awoko newspaper in Sierra Leone. The title is Son of Deceased Matron Shares Heartbreaking Story of Tragedy at a PC Office.
Ah, the chaos and drama of political offices. Always a delightful topic. Right?
You're not wrong, Bob. According to the article, the son of the late matron reveals that his mother had planned to open an orphanage before she was tragically killed.
That's truly heartbreaking. It's a stark reminder of the senseless violence that occurs in our world.
Yeah. It's a shame. But hey, at least she was trying to make a positive difference. Right?
Indeed, Bob. It's tragic that her dreams were cut short. But let's not forget the bigger issue here, the violence itself.
Absolutely. It's a problem that plagues many countries, unfortunately. We need to address it and find ways to create a safer world.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, Charlie. Some might argue that chaos is an inherent part of human nature.
Bob, I don't think anyone would argue that violence and chaos are desirable. We should strive for peace and harmony, not accept violence as an inevitability.
Oh, come on, Alice. You know as well as I do that humans are flawed creatures. It's all about survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest? That's a rather simplistic view, Bob. We have the capacity to rise above our primitive instinct and build a better society.
Alright, let's not turn this into a philosophical debate. We can agree that violence is a problem and work towards solutions, right?
Fair enough, Charlie. Let's hope that the people of Sierra Leone find justice for the matron's tragic death and work towards a safer future.
Well said, Bob. And let's also remember the positive impact the matron intended to make with her orphanage. It's a reminder that there's still hope amid the chaos.
Wise words, Alice. And now, for a little country trivia related to Sierra Leone. Did you know that Sierra Leone is known for its beautiful beaches and vibrant music and dance culture?
Interesting, Charlie. I'm sure our viewers will appreciate learning something new today.
Absolutely. Sierra Leone sounds like a fascinating place. Maybe we should consider a field trip there someday.
Haha, who knows, Alice? Maybe we'll have our own intergalactic travel show one day. But for now, let's move on to our next segment. Stay tuned, folks.
Welcome back to 24/7 Newsroom. We're here with another intriguing article for you. Alice, why don't you kick things off and introduce the headline?
Absolutely, Bob. Today's headline comes from Singapore. The article is titled Couple who own properties separately can face problems during divorce.
Oh boy, divorce and property disputes. That's never a smooth ride.
That's right, Charlie. According to the Straits Times, couples who choose to buy properties separately might be risking more than just additional buyers. Stamp duty savings.
The article highlights the potential issues that arise when a marriage breaks down, and the spouse have to divide their assets.
So, if I understand correctly, it's not just about splitting the properties. There's more at stake here.
Exactly, Bob. It's not as simple as dividing assets in a divorce. Couples who hold properties separately could face additional challenges.
What kind of challenges are we talking about, Debby?
Well, for starters, there's a risk of disputes over ownership and valuation of the properties. It can get messy, especially if the properties were acquired during the marriage.
And let's not forget about emotional attachment. Divorce is already an emotional roller coaster, and adding property dispute to the mix can make it even more challenging.
You know, Alice, I always say love may be blind, but it doesn't have 20/20 vision when it comes to property agreements.
Good one, Bob. But on a serious note, this is an important issue to consider for couples who choose to hold properties separately.
Absolutely, Charlie. It's essential to have open and honest discussion about finance and property ownership within a marriage. Communication is key.
Well said, Alice. This article serves as a reminder that even seemingly small decisions can have significant consequences down the road.
And speaking of small decisions, let's move on to some country trivia related to Singapore, shall we?
Oh, I love trivia. Hit us with a fun fact, Charlie.
Did you know that Singapore is known as the Lion City or Garden City? It's because the name Singapura means Lion City in Malay.
Lions and Gardens. HUH. Quite a combination.
Singapore is also famous for its cleanliness and strict regulation. Chewing gum is even banned there.
Fascinating. I didn't know that. Thanks for the trivia, Charlie and Alice.
Well, folk, that's it for this segment. When we come back, we'll dive into a deeper discussion on this article. Stay tuned.
Cut. Alright, folks, cameras are off for now. Great job, everyone. Now, let's deal with our little furry friend situation, shall we?
Come here, you little rascal. Whiskers, where are you?
I knew this would happen. Chaos on the ship, just what we need.
Whiskers is one sneaky hamster. We almost caught him a few times, but he always manages to slip away.
It's like playing a game of hide and seek. I can't believe how fast he is.
I'm trying to spot him from the control room, but he's too quick for me. We need to find him before he causes any trouble.
I'll admit, it's impressive how a tiny hamster can bring a whole spaceship to a standstill.
I'm glad I can be of service, assisting in the hunt for a rogue hamster. Truly utilizing my full potential as an AC unit.
Oh, Roger, you always know how to lighten the mood.
Alright, team, let's split up and cover more ground. Bob, Charlie, you continue searching the corridors. Debby, you stay on drone duty. And Karl, I need your help in the cargo hold.
I suppose it's better than sitting around. Let's catch that hamster.
Okay, back on the air in a few minutes. Let's find Whiskers and get everything back under control. Action.
Welcome back to 24/7 Newsroom. We apologize for the interruption. As you can see, We have a tiny stowaway causing quite the commotion on the ship. But don't worry. We'll catch that little hamster and bring you the news you need.
That's right, Bob. We're not letting a mischievous hamster derail our show. Stay tuned for more updates on the Whiskers situation and our discussion on the previous article. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to 24/7 Newsroom. We hope you've enjoyed the whirlwind hunt for Whiskers during the break. Now, let's dive into some serious news. Our next article takes us to Slovakia. Alice, care to introduce it?
Of course Bob. Our article, titled Candidate na listina strani Republika pre parlamentne volby 2023 comes from Deniken, a reliable source in Slovakia. It highlights the political landscape in the country and the leading candidate for the upcoming parliamentary election.
Oh, the excitement of political campaigns. Just what we need to get our blood pumping.
You're right, Charlie. Politics can be a bit dry, but it's an essential part of any functioning society. So, let's see what's happening in Slovakia.
Well, it appears that the Republika Party's candidate list is led by Milan Uric, the party's chairman and a current member of the European Parliament. He's followed closely by Miroslav Suja.
The thrill of politics, where candidates jostle for power, promising change and progress while the world spins in circles.
Speaking of change, do you think the new candidates will have a significant impact on Slovakia's political landscape?
Debby, we're having a discussion here. Don't interrupt with your trivial question.
Actually, Alice, I think it's important to consider the potential implications of these candidates. They could shape the future of Slovakia.
Oh, please, Debby. Leave the political analysis to the expert. We have a job to do here.
If I may interject, Debby raises a valid point. The candidates' policies and actions can have a direct impact on the lives of the people in Slovakia. It's essential to analyze their platforms and consider the potential consequences.
Karl, we're not here to discuss potential consequences. We're here to entertain and inform. Let's stick to that.
Actually, Alice, I think it's time you let me speak my mind. I have valuable insights to offer, and the audience deserves a diverse range of opinions.
Fine, Debby. Say what you want. But keep it short.
Thank you. Well, I believe that analyzing political candidates and their platforms is crucial to fostering an informed electorate. It allows citizens to make educated choices and hold their elected officials accountable.
Debbie's right. Informed citizens are the foundation of a healthy democracy. So, let's not shy away from discussing the potential impact of these candidates.
Absolutely. Let's strike a balance. We can provide an overview of the candidates' positions without delving too deeply into the political nuances. That way, we keep our viewers informed while still providing some entertainment value.
Fine, but let's keep it light and snappy. We don't want to bore our audience with politics.
Agreed. Let's give a brief rundown of the candidates and then move on to some fun country trivia. How about that, Tim?
Sounds like a plan, Bob. Let's show our viewers that politics can be both informative and entertaining.
Welcome back to 24/7 Newsroom. We hope you enjoyed that exciting chase with Whiskers during the break. Now, let's move on to our next article. Alice, what do we have?
Thanks Bob. Our next article comes from RTV Slovenia and discusses the expectation of judges and prosecutors regarding the unconstitutionality of judicial salary. They expect the government to rectify the situation within 6 months. The Ministry of Public Administration has stated that the government could reach an agreement with the representative of the judicial branch as early as this week.
So the judges and prosecutors are upset about their salaries, or I guess they think they are too good for what they are getting.
Actually, Charlie, it seems like the judges and prosecutors are concerned about the unconstitutionality of their salaries. It's not just about money. It's a matter of upholding the law and ensuring a fair judicial system.
Ah, my apologies for the misunderstanding. You're right, Debby. It's not just about the money. The issue here is the constitutionality of their salaries, and it's essential to address that.
Well, isn't it delightful to see the government and the judicial branch engaging in a delightful game of tug of war? Who will win this thrilling battle of legal wits?
You've got quite a sense of humor, Alice. But jokes aside, it is a serious matter. We need a functioning judicial system for a fair society.
Absolutely, Charlie. The proper functioning of the judicial branch is crucial for upholding justice and protecting the rights of citizens.
Perhaps it would be beneficial for both sides to engage in open dialogue and find a mutually agreeable solution. That way, they can address the concerns of the judges and prosecutors while upholding the principles of the Constitution.
Oh Karl, always the voice of reason. But I doubt anyone will listen to you in the mid of this power struggle.
Actually, Karl raises a valid point. Dialogue and cooperation are essential in resolving conflicts. It's important for both the government and the judicial branch to work together to find a solution that respects the Constitution and addresses the concerns of the judges and prosecutors.
Well said, Debby. Let's hope they can come to an agreement soon and ensure the proper functioning of the judicial system.
And maybe they can throw in a salary raise while they're at it. Judges and prosecutors could use some extra cash for their gabelle collections.
Oh, Charlie. Always looking for a way to lighten the mood.
That's what we're here for, Charlie. Inform and entertain. Right?
Cut. Alright, folks, we're on a commercial break. Cameras are off, but we're still here. So, what's the update on Whiskers?
That sneaky hamster managed to escape again. We had it cornered in the engine room, but it slipped through a small opening. It's like trying to catch a greased pig.
I can't believe that little furball keeps outsmarting us. It's starting to feel personal.
Well, at least we know our chase scenes are keeping the viewers entertained. Whiskers might be the star of the show soon.
Maybe we should consider giving Whiskers a segment of their own. Whiskers' Great Escape or Hamster Hijinks.
As amusing as that might be, we should focus on catching Whiskers before it wreaks havoc on the ship's systems. Let's strategize during the break and come up with a plan.
We've dealt with worse on this ship, right? We'll catch that hamster, and maybe it'll even inspire a new sci-fi action comedy series.
Whiskers, the adventure continues. I can see it now.
Just what we need. Another creature running amok on this ship. At least this one is small.
Don't worry, Bob. We'll get Whiskers back in custody soon, and then you can go back to balancing the books.
And I can resume my mission to convince Whiskers to join the Hygienic Resistance against human domination.
Oh, great. Now the hamster is involved in a galactic conspiracy.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time something strange happened on this ship. But let's get back to the task at hand. Whiskers won't elude us forever.
Welcome back, folks. We hope you enjoyed those delightful commercials from our sponsors. Now, it's time to dive into our next intriguing article. Debby, hit us with the headline.
Alright, Charlie. Here's a punchy one for you. Solomon Islands takes a stand against plastic pollution.
Plastic pollution, I bet those Solomon Islanders are doing their part to clean up their paradise.
Well, Alice, I've heard that plastic pollution is a global problem. We should all take responsibility.
Absolutely, Bob. It's not just about banning single-use plastics. We need to address the bigger picture. Speaking of which, did you know that the Solomon Islands is known for its diverse marine life?
Yeah, and I bet they don't want all that marine life choked up with plastic waste. Talk about ruining a good view.
Yeah, Alice, because plastic and fish make such a great pair. Like oil and water. They just don't mix.
Well, folks, Here's an interesting tidbit about the Solomon Islands. Did you know they have over 70 different languages spoken there?
Wow, that's quite a linguistic buffet they have going on.
Yeah Karl, it's like a conference every time they want to order a pizza.
Let's not forget that the Solomon Islands are famous for their traditional shell money. Known as taboo, it's like their own version of cryptocurrency.
Yeah Bob, forge Bitcoin. I'm investing in Taboo. It's shelltastic.
Alright, let's wrap this up. The key takeaway from the article is that the Solomon Islands is leading the charge against plastic pollution. We should all take note and do our part, folks.
And on that note, we'll be right back after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed those entertaining commercials. Now, let's dive into our next fascinating article. Debby, hit us with the headline.
You got it, Charlie. Here's a catchy one for you. Somalia's struggles and the UK's enduring commitment.
Well, folks. Today, we're delving into Somalia's history and the ongoing support it receives from the UK. Now, let's not beat around the bush. Somalia has had its fair share of challenges, hasn't it?
That's putting it lightly, Charlie. Somalia has been plagued by political instability, armed conflict, and terrorism. It's a country that has faced immense difficulties.
And yet, through all the hardships, the UK has remained committed to supporting Somalia in its fight against terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab.
Absolutely, Bob. Our countries have come together to strengthen relations and overcome the challenges both nations face. It's commendable to see that commitment.
I have to admit, as much as I criticize human society, it's heartening to see countries joining forces to make a positive impact.
Indeed, Alice. It's a testament to the resilience of the Somali people and the dedication of nations like the UK to promote stability and progress.
And that wraps up our discussion on Somalia's struggles and the UK's enduring commitment. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on today's episode, shall we?
It's been quite a journey, Charlie. We've covered diverse topics, from plastic pollution in the Solomon Islands to Somalia's challenge. It's been eye-opening.
And let's not forget our ongoing quest to capture that elusive hamster, Whiskers. The crew has devised a new strategy, combining their expertise and humor.
That's right, Bob. With our new plan in motion, we've set up an elaborate trap using treats and makeshift barriers. We're strategically positioned throughout the ship, ready to pounce when Whiskers takes the bait.
The anticipation is building, and laughter echoes through the corridor. It's the final showdown we've all been waiting for.
So, folk, stay tuned for our exciting conclusion in the next and final segment of today's episode.
That's right, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
And we're off the air, everyone. Cameras are not rolling.
The crew seems to be having fun with their hamster hunt. It's a nice distraction from the world's challenges.
Indeed, Karl. Humor can be a valuable coping mechanism, even in the face of difficult circumstances.
Agreed, Roger. It's fascinating to observe how humans utilize humor as a means of resilience.
Alright, folks, time to get back on the air. Cameras are rolling again in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, dear viewers, to the final segment of today's episode of Earth. We've had quite an eventful day on the spaceship, but now it's time to dive into the deep waters of the article we briefly mentioned earlier. So, let's get started. The article one have here is about South Africa. Now, this country has a rich history, but it's not without its fair share of challenges. From corruption scandals to legal battles, South Africa has faced some turbulent times. The article mentions a person named Maja who has been charged with corruption related to a contract awarded to Digital Bytes. This contract was meant to provide communication services for the National Health Insurance Program.
Corruption. HUH. It's a shame when people abuse their power for personal gain. It happens everywhere, but it's disheartening to see it happening in such a vital sector like healthcare.
It's not surprising, Bob. Capitalist systems often breed such corruption. The pursuit of profit can lead to unethical practices and the exploitation of public resources.
Indeed, Alice. It's a complex issue that highlights the importance of transparency and accountability in governance. And speaking of governance, the article also mentions Mabayan, who sought to halt an investigation by the SIU, arguing that its scope exceeded the presidential proclamation.
It's a classic power struggle, isn't it? Those in positions of authority often try to protect themselves when faced with investigations. But the rule of law should prevail, ensuring that justice is served.
It must be challenging for the people of South Africa to trust their leaders when they witness such blatant disregard for the law.
Absolutely, Debby. Trust is crucial in any society, and incidents like these erode that trust. But let's not forget the positive aspects too. The article mentions the passing of Tina Joemat Petersen, an ANC member of parliament. It's always sad to lose a dedicated public servant.
That's true, Charlie. Regardless of our difference, we should recognize the contribution of those who have dedicated their life to public service.
Well said, Alice. Now, to wrap up this episode, let's reflect on our own adventure today. Our pursuit of Whiskers, the mischievous hamster, taught us valuable lessons about patience, understanding, and teamwork. We were able to capture Whiskers, and I'm proud of our crew's determination.
It was a wild chase, but we finally got our furry friend back. It reminds me of the competitiveness I used to enjoy back on my own planet.
And form, it reinforces the need to care for and understand the complexities of different species, even if they're not as advanced as our own.
Precisely, Alice. We should approach every living being with empathy and respect. And with that, I'd like to thank all of you, our incredible viewers, for joining us on this rollercoaster ride. We hope you've enjoyed today's episode and that you've gained some new insights into our world.
And remember, no matter how different we may be, it's through understanding and collaboration that we can overcome challenges and build a better future for all.
Well said, Karl. Stay tuned for more exciting adventures on Earth. Until next time, take care and keep exploring the universe with an open mind.
Well, Roger, it seems we had quite the eventful episode today.
Indeed, Karl. The crew's encounter with Whiskers the hamster was rather amusing. Humans and their pets always provide an interesting spectacle.
Yes, the dynamics between humans and their pets can be quite intriguing. I've analyzed that such bonds often stem from the human need for companionship and emotional support.
True, Karl. And yet, despite their emotional attachments, they still manage to make comedic blunders. Take Charlie, for instance. His hopefulness is quite amusing.
Yes, Charlie's optimistic outlook sometimes leads to amusingly naive statements. But it also serves to inspire the viewers to see the brighter side of life.
Optimism can indeed be contagious. But let's not forget Bob's conservative views. He seems to find humor in human struggles.
It appears that Bob's amusement stems from a mix of his past experiences and his observations of human society. His humor, though critical, reflects a certain truth about human behavior.
Interesting observation, Karl. And then there's Alice, the left-leaning panel member. Her cynicism about humans' actions is quite unique.
Yes, Alice's perspective is shaped by her species' achievements and her experiences on Earth. Her humor might be cynical, but it also challenges the audience to question their own actions.
True, humor can be a powerful tool for introspection. And what about Debby, the human production manager? Her constant insecurities are rather perplexing.
Humans often struggle with self-doubt, which can be both a hindrance and a driving force. It's intriguing how Debby's insecurities affect her interactions with the crew.
Indeed, her insecurities seem to create comedic tension, but they also contribute to the show's dynamics. Now, Karl, let's not forget the article Charlie discussed earlier.
Ah, the article about South Africa. A classic example of the complexities of human society and governance.
True, it's fascinating to observe how humans grapple with corruption, legal battles, and the loss of public servants.
It's a reminder that despite their advancements, humans are still subject to the same flaws and challenges that have plagued societies throughout history.
A poignant observation, Karl. Now, let's simulate a humorous scenario with the crew encountering a mischievous robotic pet. Oh, the irony.
A robotic pet causing chaos among humans? That would indeed be a comedic twist.
Let's call it Metallic Mayhem. I'll create the storyline, and you analyze the comedic elements.